the blaze is just kind of consuming the entire building. There's now like a crowd of probably like a few dozen people that are all being kind of like held back by the guards. What are you guys doing?
I walk straight past them and tell everyone to follow me.
You can see that with the way that it's the crowd of people are there, it would be like an extra 20 minutes to reroute past this. This is a kind of a problem for the city because this is like the main street. And so because of this, anybody else trying to get through this area, especially if they're on like, if they're using a cart or with a horse, most of the streets are not large enough to accommodate that. So it's foot traffic only. And that means that all the foot traffic around here is like clogged. It would take you probably an extra like 20 minutes to half hour just to reroute around this crowd that's stopping because of this building.
Being a Firewatch, my training would instantly kick in, and Godry would run up and just start going, "Help! Help! Help!"
Seeing that, I think, gonna say no. I would know Godry as a Firewatch, I assume.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, so Zia actually sees him run off and is like, "Okay, I have to do something." And he grabs in his pouch and throws like a device that claps onto your boots, basically. And you have like little springs under your boots, and I basically cast jump on you.
Awesome. And so now I'm just jumping up in the air, screaming, "Help! Help!"
Yeah, your jump distance is tripled.
This little 2-foot tall guy,
For 1 minute.
8 feet in the air, channeling his inner LeBron, and just going, "Help!"
Brik's gonna ask the guards if everyone's been evacuated safely, and if anyone's left.
There's quite a bit of a crowd here. You have to push through the crowd in order to get to the
I'm gonna
guards.
strength force my way through them.
Okay. Might not be
I'll
the
take
most
the lead.
advisable way of doing it, but okay. You sure that's what you want to do?
I'm good.
I'll try and be in front of him as I'm a big Goliath to try and make more of a way.
You're like
help him
almost
get there.
as a Goliath. You're like almost 8 feet tall, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're actually going to see that, well, like you could easily see it over the crowd. You're actually going to see that it looks as if there are two human women there. One of them looks a bit older. You'd guess maybe in her early to mid 40s. Whereas another woman is there, and she looks like she's might be in her early to mid 20s. They are both wearing the very identifiable robe of the Order of Magus and Protectors. And it looks as if the young woman is using a spell of some sort that is shooting out a blue beam of icy cold light at some small spots of fire and putting out smaller flames. Whereas the woman nearby, the older woman, appears to be, she has her hands together and seems to be chanting something as a small blue orb begins forming in her hands, and with what you know, with what you can notice to be like icy cold air that begins kind of forming into almost a vortex around the orb.
Okay, I'll relate this to the group.
And she's pointing it at the building, by the way.
Do you reckon you can toss me over the crowd?
Yeah, why not?
Task force, Gimli.
I'm ready. I or belly out of his hand over the crowd.
You only have to ask once. I'll pick him up, and I'll try and hurl him.
Okay, so before you do that, let me remind you that there are laws in place, and if the guards are keeping people back, it's probably because you're not supposed to be there. Now, with that being said, are you sure you want to do this?
I'm new to town. I'll ask Brik.
The best person to ask.
I don't. Can I go aware of stuff like this as a noble?
Only one way to find
Probably
out.
not.
Okay. I mean, I just want to help.
Guys, just letting you know, if I ever use this tone with you, this is your one warning that I'm washing my hands of what is about to happen next.
When the DM says, "Are you sure?" Definitely.
Definitely
Yeah.
go on with what you're doing.
Correct. And now I'm
I mean,
You know,
as
just
a
talk me on
noble,
top of a building so I can have a better view, maybe. And I'll go scout out for people.
Maybe we can just make our way to a guard. Try
Yeah.
to make our way to a guard.
also going on top of a
and
building
ask.
like that would probably be considered illegal.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to jump building to building to get places faster?
I mean, you're more than welcome to if you want to be considered possibly a thief and have guards chase after you and ask you why you're doing that.
Oh, I
Welcome to
should
New
have
York.
made a lawyer character. I would have made a lawyer. Why didn't I make a lawyer?
Okay, I'm just gonna
Objection.
Answering
squeeze
justice.
through the crowd politely.
Ooh,
I mean, you can push your way through the crowd.
gold or
Remember that
hard labor.
you are a noble. You could push your way through the crowd, and the moment that someone recognizes you as noble, they probably would make way for you.
Okay.
There are some benefits that you have of being a noble and having a signet ring.
Okay. I'm gonna ask Tor if he can, like, stick close to me, and I'm gonna, like, ask everyone to make way and show off my signet ring, and ask if I can have a path to the guards.
Okay. Yeah. Once you kind of begin pushing your way through, obviously making your signet ring present, or maybe if you have like a medallion or a necklace, something, that's something you can flash around too. Most people probably wouldn't know of like what house you are or what your family is, but they would most certainly recognize that it's a signet ring, and obviously anybody who has one must be a noble. So people would immediately start getting out of your way, and once you are able to push over toward the guards actually do stop you and say, "Sorry, we're under orders. We can't let anyone else through."
I tell them no worries. Is anyone trapped, or can I assist in any way?
The guards kind of like pushing people back. No, things, we have everything underhand. Hey, you get back, back.
Okay. I'm gonna shout out Tor. Let's give these guards a hand at keeping people back, I guess. And I'm gonna tell everyone, like, with my authority, I'm gonna have to demand everyone step back and go mind their own business for the rest of the night. And I'm gonna be like really like I try to intimidate everyone, like in the crowd to like.
It'd be impossible. There's so much noise, and there's so many people pushing and trying to like look over what's going on. It would be very surprising if you could even like yell at people nearby. There's a lot of noise here, and realistically, you don't really have the authority to do that.
Oh, okay.
But do
Yeah.
people know that he doesn't have the authority to do that?
Well, probably anybody beyond like his direct line of sight wouldn't even realize he's there. There's
What
a
if
decent
he
bit
were
of-
to say, "Get up on my shoulders"?
I mean, he could if he wants. I'm not really sure if it would help. It would probably look like you're trying to perform some sort of street act.
No, we can make some money.
As you guys get up close, you actually see that there are 4 bodies here. There's a man with kind of an older looking man with what looks like blood running down his face. He looks kind of bad, but more dazed than anything else. There's a younger looking man that seems to have some sort of wound or cut on his arm that's bleeding, and he's just kind of like holding it while he's sitting down on the ground. And you see a woman nearby who appears to have like several bits of like blood stains on her dress, and she's laying on the ground, and it looks as if she's kind of just like either passed out or unconscious. You're not entirely sure. And then further over, actually closer to the building, you guys see that there is what looks like a charred corpse that's there. And just as you guys are now close enough to see, the older woman holding the small blue orb, which is now increased to bit bigger of a size. It's now roughly like the size of like a tennis ball, or sorry, not a tennis ball, like a basketball. And suddenly she releases it, and a giant vortex of like icy cold wind blazes out over the fire, and the flames are almost immediately put out, if not by the wind, then by the ice that's in them. And you can now see that most of the building that was on fire is now just like a charred, burnt out husk, but with ice kind of over some parts of the wood that's now slowly starting to melt. You see a few little bits of fire that probably just were hidden by whatever wood or furniture was inside. The little bits of fire that are there are quickly being put out by the like icy laser beam that the younger woman is controlling. And as this happens, you see that the crowd cheers and applauds the older woman. She wipes her brow and then goes and talks with the younger woman on the side. And you see that she's like saying something. The young woman's like nodding while still putting out the flames.
Can I shout out and ask if they need a cleric?
Sure. Sylvie, what are you asking?
I was gonna go over to the man that's on the ground that has that is bleeding from the arm.
There are guards in your way. There's a crowd,
well.
and then there's guards that are there. So are you gonna push through the crowd to get to the guards?
Yes, I am going to do that.
Okay.
I as I walk up to the guards, I pull out my healer's kit, and I ask if I could assist in stemming the bleeding of the two that are currently bleeding.
Okay.
I'll
Caliban, what are
stay
you asking?
behind her and flash my.
Hold on. Caliban, what are you asking?
I was gonna say I would probably follow Silvestrova and try to like tell the guards as well, like I'm a cleric. Like
We have two clerics in the group. Might as well use them, right?
I'll also stay with them and show them my. I guess I have an insignia of the. What's it? Physicians and apothecaries
Yeah.
guild. Yeah, and be like, let these people through. Oh, that's the wrong. That's the wrong character. Let these people through. They know what they're doing.
Okay. Once Caliban and Sylvie, you guys show your insignias of your clerical order to the guards. At first they stop you and say, "Sorry, we can't let anyone through." You guys show your insignias and your badge that you probably have like on your actual clothing, and they just immediately like, "All right, fine, just go ahead," and they begin pushing other people back. As for you, Zir, when you get over to the guards, they're going to insist that you can't be let through.
Well, like I just want them to let the two.
Okay.
of
Well,
them through.
they already got through.
But
So by the time
like-
you get there,
I know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're fine. I'm with the guild.
yeah.
I tried to get Zir to actually come past the guards. I asked the guards, since he is a fire genasi, maybe his flaming attributes could help tie up these wounds. So could you please let him through?
The guards are going to deny it, saying, "No, sorry, normal citizens can't go through.
That's
We
fine.
have
then.
orders."
Okay. So she leans down towards the person that's got the bleeding arm, I believe. And she pulls out some of the. She's gonna first make a medicine check to examine how bad it is.
So what I want you to do, normal way we do the checks, is you tell me what you want to do, and then I'll tell you what check you should do, just that we don't have people rolling for stuff.
Okay.
It's just easier this way.
All good. So she pulls out.
Medicine check sounds perfect. Go ahead and do that.
Okay.
So you look over the wounds that are there, and you can't. Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Who did we lose? Oh, there he is.
He's back.
He has returned.
Oh my god! It messed up the order.
No.
Oh,
Gosh.
my OCD.
It literally disconnected in my room, and it was better outside, so I figured that would help. And
Okay.
just got able to reconnect. My bad.
No worries.
With
So,
the
You look over the three people that are there, and you're not really sure. You notice that the woman to the side appears to be breathing slowly. She might be unconscious. So it actually looks as if the other two people who are there are probably worse wounded, as there's very obviously signs of blood. One from the younger man's arm, from the older man, looks like he suffered some sort of hit on his head.
so
What are
oh
yes, Caliban?
Also, I would go to whichever one Silvestrava is not at, like the old man at the head, and I would cast a healing word on him. If that's
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So you cast healing word on him. So go ahead and roll that.
Mhm.
And Sylvie, while Caliban is doing that, what are you doing?
so I'm with the man that's got the cut in the arm. She takes out what looks to be some sort of cheesecloth in the way, almost loose bandages, and noticing where the blood is coming from, she takes a little bit of cinnamon and layers on the inside of the bandages with cinnamon, and then puts a little bit of mint and oregano inside of that, and wraps it around the wound, almost trying to block out and almost stuff up the the cut or gash in the arm.
As you do this, the man kind of actually pushes you away and saying, "What are you doing? Treat her instead, not me." And as he's saying this, the woman begins like you actually audibly hear as she's gasping for breath, and now there's a trickle of blood coming out of the side of her mouth.
Okay. And I will, with that happening, I will reach over to her, because I believe she's pretty close, right?
Yeah, she's lying right next to them.
I will place a hand on whatever limb is closest and cast Cure Wounds onto
Okay.
her.
Go ahead and roll that.
Roll that, or just cast it?
No, roll it. Because you still need to roll how much it's healing for.
Oh, 1d8.
You can just click
there
on
it is.
the Cure
Yeah.
Wounds
There you
spell.
go. So you heal for 9 points of health. As she immediately the breathing goes back to normal, and now she's breathing just kind of normal breaths. They're just a little bit slower, and her body, you can actually see it physically relax. And it doesn't. She coughs once where some blood comes out, and then you just kind of see her relax and breathe normally, but it looks like she is unconscious.
See, she's fine. Nothing to worry about here.
The man nearby uses his good arm to release his bad arm, and grabs onto you. Just, thank you so much. Thank the gods. Thank you so much.
I grab his shoulder and I reassure him, saying it's gonna be fine. It's just a little bit of bleeding on your arm.
I yell out that the pasta sauce helped.
What pasta sauce has cinnamon in it?
I always put cinnamon in pasta sauce.
That's weird,
A
dude.
little bit.
That's weird.
That's worse.
why is
That's
that a thing?
worse than pineapple on pizza.
So as you guys are doing this, you see the old woman, the older magister, come over, and she says, "You there, clerics? Can you cast the resurrect? Can you cast Speak with the Dead?"
I can't. I'm sorry.
You see her click her tongue, just looks to the side, then kind of storms back to the other woman. Looks like she says something to the young woman, and you see her run off. The guards kind of push the crowd away a little bit, and she runs past out of the crowd and into one of the side streets.
I'm gonna ask Tor to throw me onto a building, like not this one, but nearby. And I'm gonna look for footprints and stuff, like coming from that building.
Mostly stuff.
No. Caliban, yeah.
Did the guy that I heal, is he okay?
Yeah, he seems much better. It looks as if the wounds have closed up on both men. The blood is still there, but now it's just kind of superficial. But the wounds have closed up. They still look. The older man still looks a little bit dazed, though.
Okay. I wanna, since this guy's fine, I wanna walk over to Silvestrava and like kind of squat next to her. Like, you got this guy? Is he good? The arm gash man.
Yeah, he looks to be decent. Probably needs a little more tightly bandaged, but should be fine.
Can I roll a medicine check as well to see if I can potentially maybe help a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, if you just want to see how they are, go. You could roll a medicine check for that. Sure.
Okay.
They look fine. Now all three of them look stable. It's just going to be a little bit of time for them to mentally recuperate from whatever trauma they just endured. But physically, they look fine.
We did a good job.
High five.
There we go.
All right. So, a few minutes later, what are you guys doing now that these three men look fine? The female magistrate that's there looks as if she is waiting, kind of impatient. She has her arms crossed, and she's just kind of like looking at the crowd. And it looks as if she's just like impatiently waiting for something. But otherwise, the guards seem to still be like pushing people back. You see that the crowd has thinned out a little bit now that the fire and things aren't quite as exciting.
Well, guys, now that that's taken care of, let's head over to the notice board. Yay!
My guy finally
As
stopped yelling.
the crowd's thinning out, as the crowd's thinning out, can I like look for like shady people that I'm having suspicions that it was like a arson, so I want to like look at people there leaving.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Okay.
Anybody else doing stuff? How about the clerics in the midst of all this?
We're probably just making sure these guys are like okay.
Yeah.
I definitely don't see anyone.
Sorry, clerics, go ahead.
Silvestrava, what are you doing?
Just same thing as Caliban. Just reassessing, see what else we can do.
It doesn't look like there's
We asked the
anything
guard if anyone
else.
didn't-
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anybody else injured around here. It was just these three people.
Okay. Well,
I think Caliban's gonna look for Tor, the giant Goliath, to find his way back to his companions.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
you can easily find Tor. Tor's staying literally like
yeah.
3 feet above
see.
anybody else.
I'll tag along with Caliban and following back to Tor.
Can I, now that everything's calmed down, can I turn to one of the guards and just ask if they know what started it, like what happened? Or was it just a fire, or did something occur?
One of the guard looks at you and just kind of like looks at you, and as you say this, and just immediately like you see his hand like reflexively go to his sword on his side, and just like, I need you to stay back.
I'll put my hands up and take a step back. And say, I no trouble, just here to help.
Like one of the other guards looks at the guy nearby, just like what the hell is that thing?
Well, that's offensive.
I'm gonna say that he's a companion of mine, and he means no harm. His intent is good.
They're gonna go like look at you and just be like, as you say, my lord.
I'll look him in the eye and go, I'm a teddy bear.
Now keep in mind, just putting out there, keep in mind, Brik, that as a noble, the ones you associate with are going to reflect on you. There's a certain social structure you're expected to keep as a noble. So keep in mind that can get around.
That I have a companion that's a Goliath.
That you have a companion that's anything other than human.
Oh, okay.
So that goes for literally everybody in this party.
Okay.
Though we do have a lot of humans or human-looking people here.
I think how many people aren't human?
Let's see. Brik is human. Zachary is human. Caliban is human. Sylvie is human. Wink, wink. I'm not saying anything
wink,
else.
Okay.
And then Gadri is just a really tiny human.
Yeah, we could go with that. Really?
We call him tripod.
Should I roll for it?
And Zero's just a human with an unfortunate accident happening on his head.
So,
that's the one.
yeah,
thing we're
Gadri,
talking
go ahead
about.
and roll for an endowment check. No, don't roll for that. I take it back. I take it back.
I'll just go with it.
I'm gonna like give one of my gold to the guard and tell him like cheers for his service and tell him drinks are on me tonight for him and his friends.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask him not to like speak poorly of me and apologize for any ill behavior of my companions.
This is very bribey.
Yeah, very bribery. And I'm gonna like
my service?
I'm gonna kind of put my hands on my head and kind of flex my muscles. And I'm still shirtless, by the way.
I'm going to actively walk away from the group at this point.
I'm half expecting Brik to like put the gold coin on his chest, flex and flip the coin from his chest to the guard.
Can we please
Just
change
like
his name
pink.
back to the Chad? It's so
Yes.
fitting.
I mean, we can just
Absolutely
refer to
Chad.
him like that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
I'm also
suggest
gonna
that.
tell
Please,
them, like,
please don't.
I'm looking to join the protectors, so if there's any work that they want, to just hit me up, and I'll have a big group look into it.
I can't. All right, guys. I literally can't imagine Brik as anything other than Gaston from Beauty and the Beast.
Well, I'm
Like
just
a
seeing,
blonde
the
Gaston?
meme chat. I just see
Actually,
the meme chat as a person, you know.
Oh, jeez.
I like what Smexy's saying. Bouncing the gold off his butt.
He like goes over in like a twerking position and just like flexes one of his butt cheeks and just like pink as it like flings off.
Throws it.
He'll flip it a few times on his ass and then like
Can a
He
non
tosses
please
it
make
in
him
the,
a make it
tosses it in
rain
the air,
machine
turns
for the
around,
stinkering?
flex. Just pink.
Oh god, I was also thinking, but I need a large person to make him into the bigger
We'll do that.
chat.
I'll play hacky with the gold coin, and like then do the like chess thing, and then catch it, and then hand him the gold.
I also
There you
want
go,
to point out that literally the worse we're getting, the worse our chat is getting.